Good afternoon or good morning. This is and I am fresh from seeing a concert uh, of Gordon Lightfoot 2 days ago, and I wanted to discuss the show as well as the one of his songs. This is Eddie G's Music World, and I'm live, and I hope people can hear me because I cannot hear myself on the headphones. This has been like a crazy situation, but apparently it might just be working. Um, we'll find out. So, a little update. I did get hacked and I had to reinstall tons of stuff and get Windows fresh. So, that was a little terrible annoyance. But on Wednesday, I did go see Gordon Lightfoot. And what happened was it was a lot of old people there. It was an hour-long show. There was an opening act called Meredith Moon. Gordon Lightfoot's his singing is still reasonably good. His voice is not able to go as loud and high as he has in the past, but despite that, he still put a pretty good show on. Only an hour, so a little bit. There were still a good 6, 7 songs I was hoping to hear, but was not. He didn't go past the hour, and still a good show. Now, I'll talk about one of the songs that's dear to me because my name is Edmund, and the song that I was waiting for, and a lot of other people were as well, is called The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So I'll go into a little bit about this song. It is a story of a shipwreck on Lake Superior in 1975, November. 29 crew members died. Um it, the 10th of November, the Edmund Fitzgerald broke in half and sunk in Lake Superior. It was a huge storm, high waves, a lot of wind. 26,116 tons of tassonite pellets at the Burlington Northern Railroad, Dock 1, headed to Zug Island on the Detroit River. 29 crew members who perished. Um, it almost made number one, this song, but Rod Stewart's "Tonight the Night" was at number one, and it held it back, which is interesting because the next show that I'm scheduled to see is Rod Stewart in about a year. Uh, it was nominated for the Song of the Year, but it was beaten by Barry Manilow's "I Write the Songs." Interesting. I never knew that. It was meant to be on a TV show uh, by Paul Gross, which is his show's Due South. But he eventually said because of the tragedy, he didn't want to capitalize or exploit the song, and the families of the dead wouldn't appreciate it. So he did a different song. There's a beer called Edmund Fitzgerald Porter. Let's see if there's anything else I can remember about this song. I remember being told about this many years, and because my name is Edmund, they always joked around Edmund Fitzgerald, but I didn't mind it. Any attention was fine with me. I'm trying to see if there's anything fascinating that I can think of about this. Apparently, the crew was partly to blame for the disaster because the hatches were not secured. Oh, a hatchway gave in, so there must have been the water flowed in. He's great. This is a quote Lightfoot said about the song. I'm sincerely grateful to Yacht Films and their program, The Dive Detectives, for putting together compelling evidence that the tragedy was not a result of crew error. This was finally vindicates an honor not only of the crew who lost their lives, but also the family members who survived them. At the time of the ship going down, it wasn't a big story. The little bits of information. So he wanted to make a bigger story out of it, and he expanded on it. And of course, he wrote the song, sang it. It was a massive song, and he got information out of newspapers and got all the details he could. He had the song, the melody already picked out, and from there he completed the song. Let me see. It was one of the first pieces of music that registered to him as being a piece of music. That's where my melody comes from an old Irish folk song. So that I didn't know. He wrote the lyrics after coming up the melody and the chords, so later on with the lyrics. He said when the story came on television that the Edmund had foundered in Lake Superior 3 hours earlier, it was right on the CBC here in Canada. He came into the kitchen for a cup of coffee and saw the news, and said, "That's my story to go with the melody and chords." So he had the music all set up and before. One final note: Gordon Lightfoot explained the article he read in Newsweek was about the short shrift for such a monumental event. So apparently he didn't. There was some talk that it wasn't that big of a story. He said the song came about when he discovered the newspaper writers kept misspelling the name of the ship, rendering it as Edmund Fitzgerald. Hey, I'm an Edmund, and I don't like being called an Edmund with an O. It's actually Edmund. So the ship has something in common with how I've been addressed. Though he didn't say whether or not the misspelling was deliberate, he was quoted as telling somebody, Scott Simon, who was with NPR, "That's it. If they're going to spell the name wrong, I've got to get to the bottom of this." So there was also a reference on the Seinfeld episode about the Andrea Doria when Lane mistakenly believes Gordon Lightfoot was the name of the ship and Edmund Fitzgerald was the name of the singer. Jerry quips, "Yeah, and it was rammed by the Cat Stevens." Interesting tidbits and stories. So I'm just gonna hope that this particular discussion will make well, the sound will be on, because I'm suspect when I cannot hear anything in my headphones while I'm talking. I start to think that it will not materialize on my YouTube channel. So I'm kind of been cursed with many glitches and mistakes and not things that I haven't been programmed properly. And I just got my computer back, so that could be another issue. Well, rather than go on too long, I'll just end it by saying it was nice to see Mr. Lightfoot live, and he's 83. He's going to be 84 in November. Remember? Anyway, I will not sing because this is not my forte. So I'm going to thank those who do eventually listen to the story about Edmund Fitzgerald and the singer Gordon Lightfoot's concert in Montreal. Both I figured were warranted a discussion. So I'm signing off for now. Then I'm going to go and listen to see if it came out well or not. I pray it did. And by the way, to my buddy Grigster or Grigex, I hope everything's going well with you. I know you're moved, and I know you've got a lot of things that you want to do and you're trying to do. So I wish you well, and I hope you hear this because, we go back a few years. Thanks. Eddie G's Music World signing off.